The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I didn't actually see it, but the Talmud told me firsthand, this is what happened there. If anyone knows what Kew Gardens Hills looks like, which is where Lander College is, there's a main strip called Main Street. And my friend, my Talmud, is a very nice boy, chashuva, but he ain't no weightlifter. He's not in any way strong. He'd probably tell you he's very weak and fat. He was walking down Main Street, and off of Main Street there was a woman in one of the private houses that was screaming for help. He's not in Hatzalah, he's not in Chaverim, he's just a regular guy. And he runs over to the woman and he says, "What's wrong?" And she says, my son, my baby son, he's a toddler. He's in the crib in his room. And somehow, like a svarim shrunk with all the svarim in it, probably, could be hundreds and hundreds of pounds of weight, tilted and fell on the door going into his room. And they can't open the door. She has to get to her baby. Her baby is screaming and she has to break through this door. So the first thought that comes through my Talmud's mind is, okay, so call the fire department, call the police, call somebody strong. I'm not strong. What do you want from me? But he immediately dismissed that because he saw how desperate she was. He got his cape out and he ran into this house, and with all of his strength, and there was a screaming baby in the crib, needing to get to his mother's arms, he pushed the door in. And he was somehow able to move the svarim shrunk out of the way, push the door in, and he was able to bring the baby out and give it to the baby's mother. And he tells me, he says, I wouldn't be able to lift 3 of those svarim. There were about 100 of those svarim, but if you would ask him could you do me a favor, lift 3 svarim for me, the heavy svarim, and carry them across, he'd say, I can't, I'm weak. But he was able to because it was an emergency. And there was, call it what you want, you call it adrenaline. I don't know how scientists would chalk up these types of things that you hear all the time, that when things are urgent and you need to pull out something extra from yourself, suddenly you're able to find within you the strength, the power, the stamina to do anything that you want. Even though it doesn't make sense on a normal day, I would not be able to do this, but you're able to find the strength within you. Cesar of Dessler, the same thing is true when it comes to Limanat Torah. When it comes to being able to accomplish great things in your life, if you're able to understand that what you are is so much greater than what you think you are, now you're able to break through many, many layers on top of layers that you thought were impossible, but are truly possible. There was a Talmud that came once to the Chasam Sofer. He wanted to get into the yeshiva of the Chasam Sofer, the yeshiva of Preshberg. And he came to the Chasam Sofer and he says, okay, I'd like to come to yeshiva. He says, great, take out a Gemara. I'm going to give you a Fahar. I'm going to give you a Bechina. He said, I'm not prepared to take a Bechina on anything. I'm very, very ill-suited. He says, come on, surely you know something. What, you know Masechta? No, I don't know Masechta. You know a block? I don't know a block. I don't know anything. But I want to come to the Chasam Sofer's yeshiva. And the Chasam Sofer said, okay, I see something special in you. I'm accepting you. He says, wow, Baruch Hashem. He says, I'm going to now set you up with Chabrusa. He set him up with a Chabrusa and Musar and Halacha and Ashkafa and in Gemara, building his skill sets. And what happened was this Talmud became so great in learning that in the Tshuvas Chasam Sofer, which is the response of the Chasam Sofer's response, Shailos Tshuvas, it's a classic beyond. It's the most perfect of the Shailos Tshuvas farm that we have, that everyone loves the Chasam Sofer's Tshuvas. It's just a work of art. And there are several Tshuvas from this particular Talmud that came into yeshiva not knowing a thing. And he's going back and forth. He's sparring in halacha, in lumdus, with the great Chasam Sofer, and the Chasam Sofer is feeling the heat. He's taking the challenge. The great Chasam Sofer, we don't have anyone to compare him to. This Talmud that knew nothing a few years ago was able to now make it into, just to make it into that Sefer, you have to be something. But you see from the covet that the Chasam Sofer is giving him, in the way he entitles him at the beginning of the letters, this is a person that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bestowed greatness upon. Maybe naturally he did not have the skills, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu granted him those skills. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves people that try, and that never say no, and that never accept no for an answer, and that say, if I If I'm here in this world and HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me the Torah and he gave me a brain, you better believe that I'm going to use it and I'm going to try my best. And every time you try your best in Torah, you succeed. The Stipler writes one of the letters. He says, every daf of Gemara that you learn is success. Don't tell me that you're not successful in learning. Every Rashi that you learn and that you know is success. Every Taisa that you learn and that you know is success. He says, and the more that you amass more Rashis, more Taisas, more Gemara, you will look in the mirror someday. That's not his Lashon, that's my Lashon, that's sort of what he's saying. And you will looking back at you will be a tremendous Talmid Chacham. Day by day, Rashi by Rashi, Taisas by Taisvis, Siman and Shulchan Aruch by Siman and Shulchan Aruch, Musar Sefer after, that will breed success. Now, is it going to happen tomorrow? No. But if you do this steadily with a drip and another drip and another drip, like the water that was eroding the rock that Rabbi Akiva saw, and this was what inspired Rabbi Akiva to be Rabbi Akiva, little by little, do not give up. Do not ever give up.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org